Highways are the only place in the modern world where you can be surrounded by hundreds of people and still be completely alone. Every single person you pass is a stranger. Every vehicle is temporary. Everyone is going somewhere else. And every year, people enter that space and never arrive at the other end. You're watching the Nightmares Index. If you're new here, subscribe and hit the notification bell so you never miss any of our uploads. Before we begin, drop a comment and tell me where in the world you are watching from and what time it is on your clock right now. Now, let's begin. I have never told anyone the complete version of what happened at that rest stop. Not the highway patrol. Not my sister. Not even the investigator who called me 6 months later asking questions about that day that I didn't know how to answer. But there are other people who stopped at Thornfield Rest Area on Interstate 74 who did not leave the way I did. So I'm telling it now. The engine light came on just past Bloomington. I was 3 hours into a 6-hour drive, moving my things back home after the lease ended in Chicago, and the light blinked on just as I merged back onto 74 heading east. I had 400 miles left. I had been checking the oil every gas stop because the car was old, and I knew it was dying. But I needed it to die after I got home, not before. The rest area sign said 12 miles. I could make 12 miles. My sister Caroline had called that morning before I left and told me to text her every 2 hours so she knew I was still moving. I was the younger one. She still did this. I had texted her at hour 1 from the gas station outside the city, and she'd sent back a thumbs up and a coffee emoji, and that was it. The next text was supposed to come at hour 3. I checked the mirror. The highway behind me was full. Saturday mid-afternoon in July, everyone moving somewhere for the weekend. The kind of traffic where you are never really alone, but you are never with anyone either. I moved into the right lane. The engine light stayed on. Solid. Not blinking. Solid was okay. Solid meant I had time. The rest area appeared exactly where the sign promised. Thornfield Rest Area. Picnic tables. Restrooms. Vending. No gas. I pulled off. The parking lot was almost full. That was the first thing I noticed. The first thing that, later, I would think about differently. It was full. Cars in every other space. Families unloading kids. A man walking a dog on the grass near the picnic area. An RV idling near the far end with the generator running. It was loud with people. It was the middle of the day. I parked between a minivan and a sedan. I sat there for a second with the engine running, watching the oil light. And then I turned the car off and the light went dark. And I decided that I would check the oil, use the restroom, text my sister, and if the light came back on when I restarted, I would call for a tow from here instead of risking it. I took my phone, left my wallet. The heat hit me the second I opened the door. Full sun, no shade. The kind of heat that makes the asphalt soft under your shoes. The restroom building was cinder block, painted beige, with 2 doors marked with blue symbols. I walked toward it. Oh, there was a family ahead of me. Mother, father, 2 kids under 10. The mother was carrying the younger one. They went into the building just ahead of me. I followed them in. The restroom was empty. That was the second thing. I had watched that family walk in 5 seconds before me. The door had not closed completely before I caught it. There were 4 stalls. All of the doors were open. No one was inside. I stood there for a second, holding the door open behind me, looking at the 4 empty stalls and the sinks and the paper towel dispenser bolted to the wall, and my brain tried to solve it in a way that was reasonable. They went into the men's side. I had miscounted the kids. I was wrong about what door they used. I let the door close. I used the middle stall, washed my hands. The water was cold. There was no mirror, just a sheet of polished metal bolted above the sinks that reflected a version of me that was dulled and warped and unfamiliar. I dried my hands. I checked my phone. No signal. That was normal. Rest areas were dead zones half the time. I would text Caroline from the car. I pushed the door open and stepped back outside into the heat. The parking lot was different. Not empty, but thinner. The minivan that had been next to me was gone. The RV at the far end was gone. There were still cars, maybe a dozen, but the spaces between them were wider now, and the noise level had dropped in a way that I felt before I heard. No kids yelling, no dog barking, no idling engines. I walked back toward my car. It was still there, exactly where I had left it. But now there was empty space on both sides, and the sedan that had been on my right was gone. And I had been inside for maybe 4 minutes, and I could not understand how that many people had left that quickly without me hearing a single engine start. I unlocked the car. I sat down in the driver's seat. I did not close the door yet. I looked at the other vehicles still in the lot. A pickup truck near the restroom building, a sedan closer to the entrance, a small hatchback 4 spaces down from me. No one was sitting in any of them. No one was walking toward them. I checked my phone again. Still no signal. I turned the key. The engine started. The oil light stayed off. I should have left. I was going to leave. But I looked up at the restroom building one more time, at the beige cinder block and the blue symbols on the doors, and I thought about the family I had seen walk in ahead of me. And I thought about the 4 empty stalls, and I realized I had not heard a single door open or close while I was inside. Not from the men's side, not from the women's side. Nothing. I turned the engine off. I got out of the car. I walked back to the restroom building. The air felt heavier, hotter. There was no one on the grass, no one at the picnic tables. The vending machines near the building were humming, but no one was standing near them. I opened the door to the women's restroom, still empty. I walked to the men's side. I hesitated. Then I pushed the door open and called out, "Hello?" No answer. I stepped inside. 4 stalls, all open. No one inside. I backed out and let the door close. They had left. That was all. The family had used the restroom and walked back to their car and left while I was inside, and I just had not seen them. Except I had not heard any car start. Except I had been parked right there, and I would have seen them walk past. I turned around and looked at the parking lot again. 11 cars now. I counted. Mine and 10 others. No people. Anywhere. I started walking back toward my car, faster this time, and I was halfway across the lot when I saw him. A man, standing next to my car, not touching it, just standing there, next to the driver's side door, facing toward me. I stopped walking. He did not move. He was maybe 50. Jeans, dark t-shirt. Nothing about him was unusual. Nothing about him was wrong, except that he had not been there 10 seconds ago. Except that I had just been standing at my car and the lot had been empty. I did not know what to do. I was 20 feet from him. My keys were in my hand. My phone was in my pocket with no signal. The highway was 100 yards behind me, and I could hear the traffic, distant and constant. But there was no one else in this parking lot, and this man was standing next to my car, and I had not seen him walk toward it. He smiled. Not aggressive, not threatening, just aware. "Car trouble?" he said. His voice was normal, friendly, the kind of voice someone uses when they are trying to help. I shook my head. "No, I'm fine." "You sure?" "I saw the oil light on when you pulled in." I stopped breathing. I had been alone when I pulled in. I had checked the mirror. I had watched the lot. No one had been parked near me. No one had been standing in a position to see my dashboard when I arrived. "I'm fine," I said again. He nodded, stepped back from the car, hands in his pockets. "Safe travels," he said. He walked toward the restroom building, slow, unhurried. I got in my car, locked the doors, and started the engine in one continuous motion. I did not look at him again. I pulled out of the space, drove across the lot toward the exit, and merged back onto the highway going 70 before I let myself check the mirror. The rest area was still visible behind me. The man was standing in the center of the parking lot, watching my car. He did not move. I drove for 40 minutes before my hands stopped shaking. Caroline called me that night after I got home. I told her the drive was fine. I did not tell her about Thornfield. I did not tell anyone. 6 months later, an investigator from the Illinois State Police called my cell. He said my name had come up in a separate inquiry. He asked if I had stopped at Thornfield Rest Area on July 14th. I told him yes. He asked if I had seen anything unusual. I asked him why he was asking. He said there had been a pattern. He did not elaborate. He asked again if I had seen anything. I told him about the family, about the empty restroom, about the man next to my car. There was a long silence on the line. Then he said, "The surveillance system at that location has been non-operational since March of that year. 8 months. I asked him what that meant. He said, "It means we do not have footage of who comes and goes." He thanked me for my time. He did not call again. That was not the only case from that region. Story 2. My brother David made 3 mistakes the night he disappeared. He trusted his car, he trusted the highway, and he trusted the person who stopped to help him. I have spent 4 years building a picture of what happened from pieces that were never meant to fit together. Police reports, phone records, forensic timelines, and a voicemail he recorded, but never sent. The last one is what keeps me awake. David was 26. He worked in Portland. He was driving back from a job site in Northern California on November 9th, 2012. Route 101, Coastal Highway. He had driven it 100 times. He called me at 6:47 p.m. from somewhere near a town called Redwood Vista. I did not pick up. I was at dinner. He left a message. "Hey, it's me. Car's making a weird noise. So I'm gonna pull off and check it. I'll call you when I get home." Casual, unconcerned. That message is still saved on my phone. He never called back. The California Highway Patrol found his car 31 hours later. It was parked on a logging road turnoff, half a mile from the highway. Engine cold. Driver's door unlocked. Keys in the ignition. His wallet was in the center console. His jacket was folded on the passenger seat. His phone was gone. A jogger had seen the car that morning and reported it. CHP ran the plates, got our parents' address, called the house. My mother answered. I was the one who flew down. I was the one who met with the investigator. I was the one who had to identify the belongings they pulled from the vehicle and confirm that yes, this was his car. And no, I did not know why it would be parked there or where he would have gone. The investigator's name was Romero. He had been with CHP for 16 years. He walked me through what they knew. David's car had mechanical issues, a failing alternator. It would have been drivable, but barely. Romero's theory was that David pulled off to assess the problem, and someone stopped to offer help. "Does that sound like something your brother would accept?" Romero asked. I said yes. David trusted people. He grew up in a town where people helped each other. If someone pulled over and offered a jump start or a ride to the nearest service station, he would have said yes. Romero nodded. "We're working on building a timeline," he said. The timeline had a hole in it. 47 minutes. Now David's phone had last pinged a tower at 7:04 p.m., 17 minutes after he called me. The ping placed him at the logging road turnoff where his car was found. The next ping came at 7:51 p.m., 11 miles north. Different tower, different location. Middle of nowhere. His car never moved. The vehicle was still on the logging road turnoff when CHP found it the next day. and the odometer reading matched the service record from 2 weeks prior. It had not been driven anywhere. But David's phone had traveled 11 miles in 47 minutes. Romero could not explain it. Could he have gotten a ride? I asked. That is what we believe happened, Romero said. But we do not know who gave him that ride, or why his phone pinged that far north when the nearest service station is 4 miles south. I asked if anyone had seen anything, and Romero said, no. Route 101 is not empty, but that section near Redwood Vista is rural. Long stretches between towns, logging trucks, occasional tourists, no traffic cameras, no witnesses who remembered seeing a disabled vehicle or someone standing on the roadside that night. David had vanished in a 47-minute window, and the only evidence that he had gone anywhere was a cell tower ping from a location he had no reason to be. They found him 6 days later. A search and rescue team was doing a grid search of the area where his phone had last pinged. Heavy woods, logging access roads, terrain that most people would never walk into unless they knew it was there. They found him a quarter-mile off one of the access roads. He had not survived. Romero called me. He did not give me details on the phone. He said I should come back down, that there were things the family needed to know and things they needed to identify, and that he was sorry. I flew back down the next day. Romero met me at the CHP office in Eureka. He had a file in front of him. He did not open it while we talked. We have a preliminary cause, he said, but there are elements of the case that we are still working to understand. I asked what he meant. He said the location where David was found was not accessible by vehicle. The nearest road was a quarter-mile away. The terrain was steep, heavily wooded, and difficult to navigate even in daylight. Could he have walked there? I asked. Romero hesitated. The condition he was in when we found him suggests that he did not walk there voluntarily. I did not ask what that meant. I did not want to know yet. Romero continued. We believe someone else was involved. We are treating this as a homicide investigation. There were things Romero told me that day that I will not repeat here. There were things in the forensic report that I have read and wish I had not. But the part that I keep coming back to, the part that investigators still cannot explain, is the timeline. David's phone last pinged at 7:51 p.m. The coroner's estimated time based on body temperature and environmental factors placed his passing between 8 p.m. and 10 p.m. that same night. He had been found a quarter-mile from the nearest logging road, in terrain that would take an experienced hiker 30 minutes to navigate in daylight. It had been dark, it had been raining, and whoever brought him there had done it in less than 2 hours, in conditions that should have made it nearly impossible. Romero had one theory. Whoever stopped to help your brother knew that area, he said. They knew the roads. They knew the terrain. They knew where to go that no one would find him quickly. I asked if they had any suspects. He said no. 3 months after David was found, I received a call from a forensic technician with the state police. He said they had recovered David's phone from the location where he was found. It had been damaged, water exposure, physical trauma, but they had been able to extract some of the data. There was a voicemail file. It had been recorded at 7:16 p.m. the night he disappeared. It was addressed to his girlfriend, Sarah. He had never sent it. The technician asked if I wanted a copy. I said yes. I have listened to it twice, and I will not listen to it again. The recording is 41 seconds long. David's voice is calm, a little uncertain. There is wind noise in the background. He sounds like he is outside. This is what he says. Hey Sarah, it's me. So, the car died, like completely. I am off 101 near one of the turnoffs, and this guy stopped to help. He has a truck. He's gonna give me a jump or a ride into town. I am not sure yet. He seems cool. Older guy. He said he knows a place nearby that might still be open. I will call you when I figure this out. I love you." There is a pause, then a second voice, distant, muffled, a man's voice. "You coming?" David says. "Yeah." "Sorry." The recording ends. That voice has never been identified. Investigators ran the audio through enhancement. They isolated the background. They compared it against known individuals in the area. Nothing. The man who stopped to help my brother that night has never been found. His truck was never identified. No one saw him. No one reported seeing a disabled vehicle or two people on the roadside that evening. And David got into that truck and drove 11 miles north into an area he had no reason to go, and he did not come back. Sarah still calls me sometimes, not often, maybe twice a year. She asks if there have been any updates. I tell her no. There is one detail I have never told Sarah. When they found David, his phone was in his jacket pocket. The jacket he had left folded in the passenger seat of his car. Someone had brought it with them. Someone had put it on him. I do not know why. Romero did not know either. And the person who does know is still out there, somewhere on Route 101, driving a truck that no one ever saw. Story 3. There is a difference between being followed and knowing you are being followed. I learned that difference on Interstate 80 between Winnemucca and Battle Mountain, Nevada, on a night in March 2015, when I was the only person for 60 miles who was not trying to kill me. That is not an exaggeration. That is what the Highway Patrol told me later when I gave my statement, and they pulled the call logs and realized I was the fourth. I was driving back to Sacramento from a work trip in Salt Lake City, solo. I had done the drive a dozen times. Straight shot on I-80 through Nevada. Long, empty, boring. I left Elko just after 8 p.m. The plan was to drive until I got tired, stop in Reno, sleep, and finish the drive in the morning. It was dark, clear, no traffic. I had cruise control set at 78, and I was drinking gas station coffee and half listening to a podcast, and I was not paying attention to anything behind me because there was nothing behind me to pay attention to. Until there was. I first saw the truck outside Winnemucca. Big pickup. Lifted. Light bar across the top. It came up fast in the left lane, passed me, and kept going. I did not think anything of it. Nevada highways are full of trucks like that. Ranchers. Workers. People who drive fast because the roads are empty and no one is watching. I watched his taillights disappear ahead of me. 10 minutes later, he was behind me again. I noticed because of the light bar. It was not on, just the regular headlights, but the shape of it was distinctive. Wide, mounted high. I had seen it when he passed me. Now it was back. I checked my speed. Still 78. He was maybe a quarter mile back, matching my speed. I moved into the right lane. He moved into the right lane. I told myself it meant nothing. People do that. They sit behind someone on long, empty highways because it is easier than setting their own pace. I sped up to 82. He sped up. I slowed down to 74. He slowed down. The distance between us never changed. I started paying attention. There were no other cars on the highway, no lights ahead, no lights behind except his. I checked the mile markers. I was 40 miles past Winnemucca. The next town was Battle Mountain, 35 miles. I thought about pulling over. I thought about what I would do if I pulled over and he pulled over behind me. I kept driving. The truck stayed behind me. Same distance, same speed. My hands were starting to sweat. Then I saw the second vehicle. It came from behind the truck, faster, smaller. A sedan or a coupe, I could not tell in the dark. It passed the truck. It pulled into the left lane next to me. It matched my speed exactly. I looked over. Tinted windows. I could not see the driver. We drove like that for maybe 30 seconds. Me in the right lane, the sedan in the left, the truck a quarter mile behind. Then the sedan slowed down. It dropped back. It moved into the right lane. Behind me. Now there were two of them. I want you to imagine what you would do in that moment. It is after 9 at night. For you are on a highway in central Nevada, where the towns are 40 miles apart, and the spaces between them are black and empty, and you are moving at 78 miles per hour, with two vehicles behind you that are matching your speed in a way that is no longer coincidence. You have a cell phone, you have a full tank of gas, you have a car that is working fine. Do you call someone? Do you pull over? Do you speed up and hope you can outrun them to the next town? I sped up. I pushed it to 85. They stayed with me. I pushed it to 90. They stayed with me. The truck moved into the left lane. The sedan stayed in the right. Both of them accelerated at the exact same moment I did. We were driving in formation now. Me in front. Them on either side of me, one lane back. I could see the Battle Mountain exit sign in the distance. For 22 miles, I tried to call 911. No signal. I do not know if you have ever driven I-80 through Nevada, but there are sections where you lose signal for an hour at a time. 50, 60 miles of nothing. No towers. No service. I was in one of those sections. I tried twice more. Nothing. The truck accelerated. It pulled alongside me in the left lane. We were even now. Driver's side to driver's side. 90 miles per hour in the dark. I did not look over. I kept my eyes forward. The sedan pulled up on my right. Now I was boxed. Truck on my left. Sedan on my right. Both of them matching my speed perfectly. We drove like that for 5 miles. Then the truck moved closer. Not aggressive, just closer. The line between his lane and mine disappeared. He was drifting into my lane, inch by inch. I moved right. The sedan was there. I was out of room. The truck kept coming. I had two choices. Hit him or hit the shoulder. I hit the shoulder. Gravel. Dust. The car lurched. I held the wheel straight and braked as hard as I could without flipping, and the ABS kicked in, and I was sliding, and the world was nothing but dust and noise, and I thought I was going to roll. I did not roll. The car stopped. I was on the shoulder, facing forward, engine still running. I looked in the mirror. Both vehicles had stopped. The truck was 50 feet behind me, lights on. The sedan was 30 feet behind the truck. No one got out. We sat there. 10 seconds. 20. I put the car in drive. I pulled back onto the highway. They followed. I floored it. Well, I got the car up to 95, and I kept it there. And I didn't care about losing control, or hitting debris, or blowing a tire, because staying on that shoulder wasn't an option, and letting them box me in again wasn't an option. They stayed with me. Both of them. For 11 miles they stayed with me. Then I saw the exit sign for Battle Mountain. 3 miles. I took my phone out. Still no signal. 2 miles. The truck pulled alongside me again. This time I looked over. The driver was wearing a baseball cap. That is all I saw. The rest was shadow. He did not look at me. He was watching the road, like this was normal. Like we were just two people driving. 1 mile. The exit ramp appeared. I cut across both lanes without signaling and took the exit at 70 miles per hour, and the tires screamed and the car shook, and I thought I was going to lose it, but I didn't lose it. I made the curve. I looked in the mirror. They didn't follow. Both vehicles stayed on the highway. I watched them disappear into the distance, still driving in formation, and then they were gone, and I was alone on the exit ramp in the dark, and I started shaking so hard I had to pull over. I sat there for 10 minutes. Then I drove into Battle Mountain and went straight to the first lit building I saw. A gas station. I parked under the lights, went inside, bought nothing. Asked the clerk if I could use the phone. He said sure. I called 911. The Nevada Highway Patrol trooper who responded took my statement in the gas station parking lot. I told him everything. He wrote it down. He did not seem surprised. When I finished, he looked at me and said, "You are the fourth report we have had of this exact behavior in the last 6 weeks." I asked what he meant. He said, 2 vehicles, working together, truck and a sedan. Boxing and solo drivers on that stretch of 80 between Winnemucca and Battle Mountain. All 4 reports were women traveling alone. All 4 incidents happened after dark. I asked if they had identified the vehicles. He said no. No plates? I asked. He shook his head. No one has been close enough to get a plate number, and no one has footage. That section of highway has no cameras. I asked what they were doing. He said, "We do not know." I asked what would have happened if I had not made it to the exit. He did not answer that question. But he gave me his card. He told me to call if I remembered anything else. He said they were adding my report to the file, and that highway patrol was increasing patrols in that area. I asked if anyone had been hurt. He hesitated. Then he said, "Not that we know of." I have thought about that answer every day since. The accounts in this video are done. Before you close this, something real worth knowing. If your vehicle becomes disabled on a highway, the safest action is to stay inside the vehicle with the doors locked, hazard lights on, and call for official roadside assistance or emergency services. Do not accept help from strangers who stop without you requesting it. Do not leave your vehicle to walk toward lights or buildings you think you see in the distance. Distances on highways at night are deceptive, and exposure is a genuine risk. If someone stops and offers help, you can communicate through a cracked window without unlocking your door. You are allowed to say no. You are allowed to wait for official help. Most people who stop are trying to help, but the cases in this video exist because some of them were not. The difference can save your life. Before I go, of everything in this video, which account stays with you tonight? Tell me in the comments. I read every single one. If you are not subscribed, this is where I ask. What I am working on next is the most difficult thing I have had to research in a long time. You will want to be here when it is ready. And if tonight meant something, leave a like before you go. It is the only way more people find these stories, and these stories deserve to be found.